back to Speaking with Gravity, everyone, where everything affects everything. I'm your co-host, Joshua Williams.
Hey y'all, welcome to episode 98. I am Hannah Jones.
Terance Dawkins, what up?
And shout out to our executive producer, Mr. Kervin Searles, for keeping us on track. And of course, Mr. Winston Stewart, our man behind the photography, the video production, and the intro music for the show. Today's episode is chapter 98. That's a good one. That's a good one. Today's episode, that's the first time you done that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good. I can't believe it. Today's episode is chapter 98 of our special season on purpose, The Road to 100. We're digging into today media, music, and mental health. What we consumes us. From hip hop to social media, reality TV, and more. Everything we watch, listen to, and scroll through influences how we think, feel, and see ourselves, believe it or not. And as Kervin likes to say, our entertainment diet affects us whether we realize it or not. And as Lauryn Hill reminded us back in the day, everything really does affect everything. Mm-hmm. So we always love to start the show off with what you, the people, want to know. So Mr. Terance Dawkins, we know we can count on him for that.
That's right.
Mr. Terance Dawkins, what do the people want to know?
The people wants to know, if you had to delete every music artist from your playlist except for one, who would you keep and why?
Oh, I like that one. People,
that's a good question.
People,
you only keep one, and why?
Really good question. I would keep John Coltrane, saxophonist, old school saxophonist, and why? Because there's a lot of. So I have the same playlist that I've had for years, right? And a lot of the stuff I don't listen to at all no more. It's not really probably even productive for me to listen to. So all that stuff I could scrap, and I could leave John Coltrane in there because I don't really need a voice so much, right? I get good vibes off of just hearing, instrumentals sometimes, and John Coltrane, to me, greatest saxophonist, that I've heard. So
I think Terrence was over there downloading some
No. I had to figure out the artist. Sounds of Blackness. Hold on, change is coming, because that's my mama's favorite song, and that gets me through tough times.
Sounds of Blackness. That's a group.
Yep.
Okay.
So he told you the artist as well as one song that he would listen to for
That's
the rest
right.
of his life.
That's right.
And a society. Oh, go ahead.
No, I thought it was a group. Kervin was shaking his head
It is a group, yeah.
like I should know that probably.
Oh,
He was shaking his head like that. My bad.
I'm sure you'll recognize some if you hear some of their songs.
I know that song.
Hold on, change.
on.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, y'all almost got a concert just then. Oh,
Come
Lord.
on now. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I feel like in a society where media and music consumes us daily, I would have to pick an artist that was mentioned earlier, Miss Lauryn Hill herself. And why I would pick Lauryn Hill as the only artist that I would listen to for the rest of my life, because I feel like she's an all-in-one type of artist. You have a little bit of motivation and inspiration. You have a little bit of love songs of her singing from the heart, whether it's to her lover or even to her child. And then you also have a little bit of hip-hop and the jazzy and sassy side of her. So
I liked her in Sister Act.
a little bit of gospel in there, too.
Yeah, I liked her in Sister Act. That was a good movie, I'm just saying.
Yeah. So we appreciate that, people. Now we can move on to our another great segment of the show, our cutie of the hour, Miss Hannah Jones. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Still getting used to it. Still getting used to it. Her husband will forgive me. I know him. Miss Hannah Jones. I'm sorry.
Y'all, we're all still getting used to that. So here's some quotable data that you all can share with your loved ones, your spouses, your friends, or your family. Research from the American Psychological Association from 2022 shows that what we consume through media, whether that's music, TV, social platforms, can directly impact our stress levels, sleep patterns, and even our self-esteem. In fact, studies on music specifically suggest that certain genres can either reduce anxiety and improve your mood, or if consumed excessively, it can actually increase your sadness. It's another reminder that our entertainment diet really does shape or can shape our mental health.
I love that entertainment diet. I love that term, and I want to put something behind when we say consume. Um, Sometimes it's not always actively listening to it, right? Sometimes it's not always consciously taking all of this in. Sometimes it's just being around it subconsciously. I'm hearing things, right, and I might not be processing it with intention of doing anything, of changing my life or buying into the message that is getting across, but because I'm around it, I'm hearing words, I'm hearing phrases, actions, attitudes, energies that can kind of affect me as well. So just keeping in mind, sometimes it's just being around it, and not necessarily I'm the one that's playing the music or I'm the one that's got the show on, but I'm right there, and I might be doing something else, doing homework or something, but it can still be affecting me. Just being around it.
Yep. So when I feel like the influence that media and music has on mental health is very significant. One concept that I've learned about is just social comparison, and that's when you're scrolling on your timeline on whatever platform you're on, comparing yourself to the lifestyle of others. And this concept can be very detrimental simply because we're the Instagram celebrities or the other celebrities or those popular people that are posting their lifestyles, or even just the average person that's posting their lifestyle. 9 times out of 10, they're posting what is what is popular, or what is the ideal lifestyle, and most people are not posting the reality or the downfalls of their life. So when it comes to this concept of social comparison, we're looking at other people's ideal lifestyles. That's the word I was trying to say. Their ideal lifestyles and not the reality, and we're comparing our reality to someone's perception of life. And just that social comparison, it can cause you to feel inadequate, or also like you're not enough, or you're not doing enough. And we had another episode talking about failure and work hustle. Just having that comparison of viewing other people's lifestyles compared to your lifestyle, it can create some negative feelings there.
Yeah, somebody told me that people post their highlight reels. That's what they call it. They call it their highlight reels. So you'll just see the glorified, trips, or the out with friends, and things like that. But you don't see the moments where they're alone, or you don't see the moments where they might just be doing whatever other than the highlight reel, outside of the highlight reel. So when you mentioned the comparison, that's what came to my mind.
And I appreciate that, y'all. And Hannah, you made me think about something. The fact that a lot of times we'll hear something, we'll be around something, and it might not right away affect us in a way where we can see it. Right? It's shaping that mood. It's shaping those thoughts and that behavior over time. Right? That really starts to get to us, and really starts to kind of change the way that we think sometimes, to affect, I'll say, impact the way that we think and the way that we go about doing things. And what's something I think definitely to point out is when we start doing something, we make it a habit, and then we get to the point where we start going to it because it's familiar, maybe when we have nothing to do, right? When our mind is kind of empty. That's a great time to put some really positive things in there, right? Some positive reinforcement. But during those times when we're kind of empty and we start scrolling, oh my gosh, that's when everything we start putting what's right there. We start putting that in our minds instead of being intentional. And it's even when we sometimes are kind of sad, right? Sad, happy, whatever. But particularly, I think it's something about like when we sad, when we're not in a good mood, and then we go to social media or something like that, and we let whatever is there kind of add to our sour mood or whatever. That can be a recipe for disaster. I'm just saying. So, but the point about it is, it doesn't always affect us, right then.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's over time. So, we have to be, if we're gonna be on social media, if we're gonna listen to music and all that, we have to also, I think, carve out time when we take walks, right? When we do things that don't require us to engage in
Media.
do different entertaining type of things.
Well, that your comment made me think about another impact of how media impacts our mental health, and that's through emotional triggers. So I heard you say, like, sometimes when we're sad, we'll resort to social media and scrolling. Sometimes it's like a comfort food for us. Some people want to go sit on the couch and eat ice cream. Well, some of us just want to lay in bed and scroll on social media because it makes us feel good. So whether we're sad, we can also be happy. We can also be in a perfectly good mood, and scrolling on social media, sometimes the impact of that is experiencing emotional triggers. And so basically we see some type of content or some type of interaction that provokes some type of intense or negative emotion on the inside of us. An example of this is the death of George Floyd. If you have experienced police brutality, or if you have had a negative encounter with a police, maybe watching that video of George Floyd being killed by the police was triggering. So just emotional triggers is another impact that scrolling on social medias can have on our mental health.
And it's for me too. It's the fact that we go and we subject ourselves to these messages, right? Yeah. And it's almost like we're going and we're talking to someone who has that type of energy or is having that type of conversation. So, for instance, if I'm seeing something about, to your point, police brutality, as I'm scrolling, right, or as I'm listening to music or whatever, I didn't necessarily ask to get in a conversation about police brutality, right?
Right.
But now I'm in it. Now that's what's in my mind. So it's like we kind of subject ourselves to it in a way. And it's not even what we're asking for, right? Our brain, our spirit may really need something else at the time, but this is what we're being given, right? Just by choosing to be there. Terance, I want to ask you, like in your work, definitely dealing with intergenerational trauma. Have you seen, like, what have you seen? Have you seen like media or music or what have you to kind of play a part in, I'll say, in provoking that intergenerational trauma, or how does it relate? Does it?
Yeah, because I mean, when you she just mentioned a great example of the George Floyd, right? The video, people watching the video, seeing the video, they get outraged. What do? They might go, do some type of retaliation, or they might, feel, nervous and afraid for themselves, which means I'm not going to go out the house. So now that impacts, what behaviors you do or don't do, right? So I think, and that's not to say it has to be some type of traumatic event such as that to have an influence. Like even for me, listening to certain music can invoke a certain emotion, right? So if I'm listening to maybe some gospel music, I have a different emotion unless I'm rather than when I'm listening to rap, right? And not saying that I'm listening to the lyrics to rap music, saying I'm going to go do some of the things they rap about, because I'm not. I just like the beat. I'm just going to throw it out there, but it's a different emotion associated with what I'm listening to. But I think the media, depending on what you, I guess, consume, right, can have an impact on what you do and don't do, react or do not react to certain situations. Like if you scrolling on TikTok, and depending on, matter of fact, I think it's mainly, not mainly, but a lot of times it's what we look up as well. We'll come across something, and guess what? We get caught into a rabbit hole, and we'll continue to look it up, which then can get us into maybe a deeper negative emotion, right? To where it's now I'm feeling, worse than I felt before, because so one video led to 10 videos of the same type of topic. So I guess it can really re-traumatize us if we allow it to. And we just sometimes get sucked in a hole with it.
And also, Terance, your comments made me think about another impact of music and media and how it impacts mental health, and that's through cultural norms. And it's a term called cultural messaging. So that's basically the process of internalizing what we see around us and consuming the media and the music we listen to or view around us. And now we are learning different norms or expectations that didn't exist before. So, for example, in the hip hop community, I know like when I was listening to like NBA YoungBoy, and if he's mad, well, what is the effect of him being mad? He's going to kill somebody. Now, if I'm listening to gospel and, somebody says they're upset or they're enraged, the effect of that or the result of that is they might pray. But just listening, you can see, and I wanted to use those two different examples because they're on opposite sides of the spectrum, but you can see how music can impact or create a norm. And, if you're living in an environment where hip hop is very common, maybe that's all you're listening to and that's all you're being introduced to. But if you transition to listen to something that's more positive and uplifting, maybe your consequences are not consequences, but maybe your actions you'll have different actions or different consequences to some of the feelings you're feeling.
I think I got a perfect example.
Yeah.
And, well, whether it's like movies or clips or whatever, when somebody goes through a breakup, what normally happens? What kind of music they listen to? Sad music, right?
Aww.
So you don't see them listen to music to uplift them. They listen to music that maybe reminds them of their significant other or partner.
That's true.
Or they listen to music that the lyrics is kind of they can relate to the lyrics about how maybe they was heartbroken and whatnot. So I think the music impacts, and this is not just with music, but this is just an example. The music impacts or reflects how that person was feeling. So then, or they might get outraged and go listen to some other type of music. But either way, a lot of times what you'll see is people get broken up with. They listen to sad music. They people feeling happy. There's more positive, uplifting music. Depending on what genre they prefer. People in love, they listen to that R&B, right? So I think media does play a part in what emotions we feeling and helping us reflect what emotions we feel.
I think some danger come in when it's just we listen to or we watch certain stuff just by habit. For instance, I got some friends or cousins that really like Rod Wave, great artist, man. I'm talking about, man, he made some great music to me. He causes, I think I've heard his music referred to as like pain music, and you have to be careful because if you listen to it just for entertainment, just to entertain yourself, man, that can invoke feelings of sadness. You know what I'm saying?
Emotional triggers.
Yeah, those emotional triggers that we was talking about. And it can even, it can remind you of your pain. So we have to be careful. And even if you somebody that's, been to jail, been to prison, and then you come out and you listen to music, it's about crime and whatnot, man, you gotta be careful about that because that can invoke memories. You know what I'm saying? And it all can affect just how we're showing up. So I do want to ask the question, how does our personal entertainment diet impact? How does it impact how we show up daily?
I got another example.
Come on.
All right. So in college, anytime Knuck If You Buck come on, what typically normally happens? Of course, you see, like, if you're in college, the Greeks doing strolls and stuff, but ultimately, at a certain point in that song, it's going to provoke a fight. Almost every single time.
Don't look at me the wrong way.
Yeah, they'll look at me. Yeah, they look at, oh, you talking to me? Like, it's just one of those things, right? So it's like that music, those lyrics, that beat provoke, like, aggression out of people, right? And that's even with like Lil Jon and East Side Boys during the crunk era or whatnot. Like, they pretty much said the same thing during the whole song. Throughout the whole song, they said the same, pretty much the bridge, hook, whatever you want to call it. But guess what? Some of those songs didn't get played in clubs because if they did, a fight broke out. So again, that's another example of how music can impact emotion, which impacts behavior.
Do you have a face that you used to make when that song came on, Knuck If You Buck?
Well, we ain't gonna talk about it.
You have a face.
I left those days behind. I left those days behind me. I'm retired.
I try to just keep the pretty face.
Okay.
I'm retired.
Yeah. I don't want to bring up no old.
What kind of face did you have?
Ain't no telling.
He probably was just, look at them right over there. Look at him over
I ain't
there.
no telling, man.
Nah, I'll tell you what Joshua does. Joshua's over there in the corner. You know what I'm saying? How you know. I don't know why they
You
over there.
trying to
Okay.
spit game to somebody.
Playing some slow music in my head.
So playing some jazz.
Nah,
Hitting that, he over there hitting that slow voice talk.
Give you
Oh.
back.
That's good.
do y'all think that people? Can I ask y'all a question?
Yes.
Entertainment. I've heard entertainment can be used as a tool, but also as a mask. How y'all feel about that? Entertainment as a tool versus entertainment as a mask.
Well, I feel like, especially in the culture, in the society we live in, a lot of people can hide behind their social media identity. So the stuff they're posting online and the pictures they're posting online is not the real them. So I feel like that's one way that media can serve as a mask, because you're portraying someone that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, what's the other?
Yeah, entertainment as a tool versus entertainment as a mask.
Yeah, I feel like if you reach a point of healthy mental health, and just being healthy, period, and self-awareness, you're able to use social media as a tool to either uplift yourself. So that means maybe unfollowing some things or some people that wasn't feeding into positivity, and maybe following some people that can help your lifestyle or the goals you're trying to reach now, and just using mental health to support the goals that you're trying to reach. In my personal experience, one thing that I've done, now that I'm married, I follow more individuals, specifically ladies that are married, because I no longer live a single life where, I'm partying or I'm going on girls trips often. I'm experiencing a life where I'm doing stuff with my husband. And so just reframing and maybe unfollowing some people that wasn't contributing to my new lifestyle or to my new goals, that has helped me to use social media as not as a mask, but more so as a tool.
Yep. If you think about people or individuals who have built a persona around music or around media reels, whatever. When you say use it as a mask, I feel like some people could. And I'm not saying this is 100% of the time, but some people could use that persona to hide something. So the persona of me going, if I have built this persona of me going on always going on these fancy trips, expensive trips, then I'll be known for that. So in my mind, I have to keep up this persona to mask, but underneath, I'm hurting, I'm alone, I'm sad, I'm broke, I'm in a whole bunch of debt, but I've built this persona to hide all of that.
You're trying to believe that.
So I think it's like when you said mask, that's what I thought of. People building personas around a certain characteristic or a certain whatever, and then but it's truly hiding something, but they have to keep on that mask when the camera's on.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it makes it hard to change for
Yeah.
the better.
Yes.
Once you have that mask on, because you're trying to keep up the persona, like you say. So when you hear something that's healthy and good for you to do, it's hard for you to do that, because I gotta keep my followers. I gotta keep
the image.
I gotta keep my image. I gotta keep behaving how I'm behaving, because that's how people. That's what
they know. That's how they know me.
Yeah.
That's how they know me.
This is me. I can't change.
I think one thing that I've noticed in working with different clients is that you have to be comfortable in your own identity. If you don't have your own identity, and if you're not comfortable in it, then you're feeding into other people's identities, and you want to be like this person, or you want to be like this professional. You're always trying to be like someone else versus just becoming yourself and who you want to be. And that's something that I've had to talk to a couple of different people about, is what do you value? What are your core values? You're focusing on looking at this Instagram model that their core values is maintaining their beauty standards. If that's not your core values, you want to get an education. You want to, have a family. This person doesn't. They just want to look pretty and make money. What are your core values, and how can your actions align with those? Sometimes that takes some pretty rough and transparent conversations, because, like you said, you have to break that mask.
Can we have some fun real quick, y'all?
What's that?
So when we're talking about media and entertainment, I would love to know, because I think that this kind of who you listen to, I think, kind of helps to help either shape you in the past, shape the way you thought, and your values and whatnot in the past, and who you listen to, or it may, if it wasn't good for you then, maybe now you can kind of reflect and say, well, it wasn't the best thing for me. But what I want to ask anyway is your top 5 artists
I don't have one
of all time.
I got to ask this in a
Your
friend
top
group
5
last week. I don't have a top 5.
Your top 5, your top whoever though, top 3, top 5, whatever, artists of all time, and why they matter emotionally, culturally, personally to you.
I can be honest and say that my top 5 has changed drastically within the past 5 years.
Okay.
5 years ago, the type of music I was listening to is not the type of music I was listening to mostly is not the type of music I listen to mostly now. Right
all time
now,
though, all time. So old and new, just
okay. So right now, I would say my top 5 is Yolanda Adams. I like listening to her because she's uplifting and very spiritual. Someone else I like listening to is Alicia Cole. I said Alicia Cole. Alicia Keys. She's very soulful. She sings about love. Someone else I like listening to is Maxwell. I feel like Maxwell is just a legend when it comes to the R&B community. He has some old hits as well as some new hits. Let's see. Someone else I like is Kurt Franklin. Kurt Franklin is lit. Like he has a great combination of uplifting your spirit as well as matching some uplifting words to like an upbeat beat. So if I'm sleepy on the way to work, I'm probably going to turn on Kurt Franklin because I don't want to listen to someone that's gonna lullaby me to sleep. And then let's see, my 5th person. I gotta think of my 5th person. It would definitely be a rapper though.
That's a good line. Glorilla.
Maybe not Glorilla.
Big Glow.
She has some cool music, but maybe not Glow.
Yeah.
I don't really have a top 5. I will say, back in the day, I would answer the question like this: like college, high school, man, I'm beating down the block. It was some type of hood rap, trap, whatever. Like you hear me coming before I pull up. That's me.
Nobody from back then is in your top 5?
No, I don't have a top 5. I just like genres. So back then it was like rap, hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. Now it's more R&B.
Let me ask you this: who would you go to a show to see?
Nobody.
Okay, I was gonna say because me, if I'm going to a show to see somebody, I must really. It's something about them. Like I gotta see. It's nobody.
Nobody. I don't like as far as like musical stuff. I don't have like, oh, I gotta go see this person. As far as concert wise, I like going to comedy shows.
Okay.
So I would go to like a comedy show concert or something.
Who's
like
your
that.
top 3?
Oh, Bernie Mac's Bernie Mac number 1. I got he up there, right? Bernie Mac.
R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. I don't know. Bernie Mac is up there. Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Dave Chappelle, and then I'm gonna say Martin right now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Martin. So that was my 3. I'll give you 3.
Okay.
So I'm glad you said you listed your top 3 comedians because I feel like that just places the emphasis on what we're talking about is that media isn't just music, but it can also be comedy shows or some type of television. So I'm glad that you chose to stay true to your identity.
That's what I can't give you. I can't give you music because that's not what I kind of like focus on, or I'm not like truly into. I mean, I listen to music and stuff, but it's like comedy stuff. Like I love movies. I love comedy shows. Like that's me. So I can give you that, but I can't give you music. You know.
So what's your top 5?
I give you mine.
And how did they impact you? Or what's the connection?
I appreciate it. Yeah. So I say Nas is probably I have to put Nas up there, just because I was kind of raised on Nas. Like Nas is the best. So I say him. I'll say. Let me see. How does Nas affect me culturally? I think that Nas was always big on like knowledge of yourself and whatnot. So I think that that's kind of encouraging for me. Boosie, believe it or not.
Boo.
Yeah, just cause I don't listen to Boosie at all no more. But listen to him growing up, definitely in college, and
And Set It Off came on, and then everything
it-
just went downhill.
and Boosie, and Boosie was this is gonna sound crazy, but when I think about resilience, I think about during a certain point in my life, just like the boldness, I say, not always good, but that the music gave me, and then transferring that over to, I'm in a different phase of my life now. I don't listen to that at all, but I still kind of remember the boldness that gave me, and just kind of knowing that, standing up for myself and stuff like that. So I say him.
I can read in between the lines. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I can read him. I'm picking up what you putting down. Keep going.
I said John Coltrane. Even though he don't have to sing or nothing like that, just the music, the vibe that I get. Anthony Hamilton, man. I don't know a whole lot of Anthony Hamilton. Like, I don't know his songs word for word, but I always know his voice. His voice is distinct, and it just always puts me in a good mood. He's singing about this one woman that he loves, as opposed to always singing about, these different women.
That's true.
He makes these songs about this one woman that he loves. I think that's really dope. And I like Alicia Keys too. And Lauryn Hill, I'd say. So that's probably like 6. Yeah. But yeah.
So, and then also, so you mentioned music as well as myself, and then Terance, he talked about comedies, but your expression of or how you consume media can even go as far as photography. Winston, behind the scenes, our photographer, I'm pretty sure if he was up here, he could explain to you all how, what he consumes when it comes to photography can impact his work. So not only does it impact your mental health, but it can impact, consuming media can impact other aspects of your life.
Shout out to Winston, his band Pope and Burt. I think they'll be performing pretty soon. Well, they performing all the time, but I think they got one coming up pretty soon here in Greenwood, South Carolina. So y'all check them out. But yeah, y'all. I think it's been a great episode, very informative. Any takeaways just from our conversation that we should highlight? Y'all think?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about intentionality, and I just want to challenge our listeners as well as us hosts to be intentional about what you consume in media, but even taking it a step further to know what your children are consuming, and how you can limit or have an impact on what they consume.
Yep. And just, again, awareness about, again, what you're listening to, how is it impacting you, and awareness about, is that benefiting you, or is that something you would like to change, and working towards changing it?
Set boundaries, I'll say, for social media, for TV, for all the media. I'll say music, whatever it is. We talk a lot about setting boundaries for people, but got to set boundaries for ourselves and the things that we interact with as well, so that we'll be doing all things in a healthy way, right? And Hannah, you said something earlier that stuck with me. You said music creates a norm, and I say media creates a norm, right? What we consume creates a norm. So being really, really careful, so careful about what we're consuming on a daily basis, making sure that if I'm gonna be doing something every day, if it's gonna become a habit, it's gonna be something that's going to feed my soul and not take from it. It's so important. So,
and
I appreciate that point.
Also not just setting boundaries on what we consume, but also how long we consume media. So, Instagram has a time limit now, and I'm pretty sure iPhones have a time limit of how long your phone will allow you. You can set a time limit as to how long you allow yourself to use an app. So setting time restrictions and those time boundaries to limit how long you actually are on social media and using those websites. One thing on the positive note that I do want to highlight is TikTok. I feel like TikTok has created this culture where it is okay to just be yourself. It's okay to record a video in your bonnet and pajamas because you're not trying to put on for other people. So there's pros and cons to everything, but I feel like TikTok is creating a culture where you can just be yourself compared to some of the cultural norms that we have learned or picked up on other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all, that wraps up chapter 98, media, music, and mental health. Please continue to do a audit of your social life, of your entertainment. What is it? Diet. I love it, Kervin. Of your entertainment diet. You know, that comes to even films that we watching. You know, it could be. Man, listen, it everything, right? Everything affects everything. So whatever we're consuming, let's continue to do an audit, right? Continue to check out Gravity Counseling Group. If you need tools to manage media stress, and don't forget Winston J. Stewart Photography, from capturing moments visually to making music that moves the soul. Stay tuned, y'all, as we move into chapter 99
Almost there, y'all.
of Season of Purpose, the road to 100, continue our journey toward our milestone episode 100 and the release of Undrafted in Purpose. Until next time, everything affects everything. I'm Joshua.
I'm Hannah. Remember to check us out on TikTok and all other social media platforms.
And I'm Terance.
And that's at Speaking with Gravity at all those platforms. We appreciate you all. Looking forward to next time.
Y'all take care. 100.